Si vous voulez apprendre des termes de finance ou tout simplement business English, restez jusqu'à la fin de cette vidéo. Aujourd'hui, nous allons parler de 3 postes qui sont extrêmement importants en entreprise, à savoir CEO, CFO and COO. Hello everybody, it's Coach Joe, your English coach. Alors, cette série de vidéos parlera de la description des postes. Aujourd'hui, on va commencer la série avec 3 postes en particulier, CEO, CFO and COO. Je vais expliquer grosso modo ce que chacun d'eux font en entreprise et on va profiter pour apprendre énormément de termes de business. All right, everybody. So without further ado, let's get started. Who knows what a CEO is? What is that, a CEO? What does that stand for? Vous connaissez l'expression to stand for something, ça veut dire qu'est-ce que cela veut dire? Ça se traduit par quoi? What does it stand for? CEO is, who knows? CEO is, let me write it in red. Chief, qui veut compléter? Executive, vous voyez comment j'ai prononcé ça, je vais revenir tout à l'heure sur ça. Executive Officer, Chief Executive Officer. Officer, c'est ER, Chief Executive Officer, CEO. En français, c'est quoi? C'est le PDG de l'entreprise. Le CEO, en français, PDG, président directeur général, PDG de l'entreprise. CEO, Chief Executive. Executive. Vous voyez comment j'ai prononcé ça? J'ai pas dit executive. Executive. Executive Officer. All right, so let's look at some of the things that a CEO does or is supposed to do. But again, these job descriptions depend very much on the type of company that it is. But mostly overall, these are some of the things that a chief executive officer should do, okay? And we will also learn business terms. So the CEO leads the company. He's at the head of the company, so he leads, il guide. So this verb is very important. Ce verbe, c'est un verbe irrégulier. Si vous n'avez pas encore vu ma vidéo sur les 134 verbes irréguliers, allez regarder cette vidéo, c'est extrêmement important. Les 134 verbes irréguliers les plus fréquemment utilisés en anglais. Lead, Je ne vais pas vous révéler le passé simple et le participe passé. Vous allez aller regarder ça. So the CEO leads the company. The CEO also drives strategy, growth and innovation. Ce qu'on apprend ici là, vous pouvez utiliser certains de ces termes même sur votre curriculum vitae. Je ne dis pas que vous devriez être CEO avant d'utiliser ces termes, je dis tout simplement que les verbes d'action que je suis en train d'utiliser là, vous pouvez les utiliser dans vos curriculum vitae. You can use these action verbs on your resume. CV, c'est resume. Okay, so the CEO drives the strategy. That means he oversees, he leads the strategy. He leads the growth, la croissance de l'entreprise, and innovation. Innovation, vous savez ce que c'est en français, c'est la même chose. The CEO also represents the company to stakeholders and is the public face of the company. Stakeholders, si vous n'avez pas vu ma série sur Business English, allez regarder les 2 premiers épisodes où j'ai parlé de stakeholders et de shareholders. Vous allez apprendre énormément de ces vidéos-là. All right? So, represents the company and somebody is the public face of the company. That means that when they think about that company, that is the person that comes to mind first, the CEO. The CEO sets corporate values. Every company that makes profit or even if you don't make profit, you have certain values that you hold dear to yourself. You have a mission, right? And so the CEO is responsible for writing that mission and guiding everybody to follow that trajectory. Does that make sense? And we call that corporate values. What are the values of the corporation? All right, the CEO drives global expansion. So for example, if the company is in France and the company is trying to expand to Luxembourg or Germany or Italy, or even the United States, or South America, Brazil, or Colombia. The CEO is going to be managing or driving. Vous voyez les verbes d'action que je suis en train d'utiliser là? Notez-les quelque part. Driving that expansion, okay? That company expansion. So he drives global expansion, he drives the strategy, and global expansion is part of a strategy. Global expansion can also allow the company to grow. And global expansion is also part of innovation. The CEO or Chief Executive Officer focuses on client acquisition. So any company, in order to grow, you need to bring in business. How do you bring in business? By having clients. And these clients can be people like us, individuals, or they can be other companies. But we call that generally client. And the fact of bringing them to do business with you means client acquisition. Also, we call something mergers and acquisition. Mergers and acquisition, let me write it right here. Mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions, that's the fact of buying another company. So you have one company here and you see another company that you like. You go and you spend money and you buy that company. You acquire that company and then you merge, vous fusionnez, okay? Fusion et acquisition en français. So the CEO is also focusing on that. The CEO sets the company's risk appetite. What is an appetite? C'est l'appétit. Risk appetite, c'est l'appétit pour le risque. So the CEO sets the company's risk appetite. There are certain companies that decide not to do anything risky. And there are other companies, on the other hand, that are extremely risky. They go and spend millions or sometimes billions of dollars acquiring other companies or going into new markets, etc. We consider that risk. So the CEO will decide whether the company has huge risk appetite or just a tiny bit. Tiny, c'est T-I-N-Y. Juste un tout petit peu. Tiny bit, B-I-T. All right? The CEO develops the brand of the company. This is very important. Every company is known for their brand. So when you see Nike, you know exactly when you see that brand, that logo, you know immediately it's Nike. When you see Gucci, you know it's Gucci, right? Whatever the brand, and even I have a brand. The brand is not just the logo. The brand is your corporate values. The brand is how you convey messages in the market. The brand is how you act as a company. The brand is everything. So you watching this video, you have a brand. Your brand is how you conduct yourself out there in the market or on social media. So it is very, very important to make sure that you build your brand so that when people see you on social media, they recognize you immediately. They know that this person is on brand. To be on brand means to do things that go in the direction of your brand, of your values, okay? The CEO determines investment strategies or the investment strategy of the company as well. And the CEO drives product development, okay? But he doesn't do it himself. Other people will do it, but he shares his ideas, okay, about product development or product innovation. Okay, so that's for CEO, Chief Executive Officer, PDG en français. Now let's talk about the CFO. What does CFO mean? CFO is, le C c'est Chief, n'est-ce pas? Chief, le F c'est quoi? Financial. Et le O, Officer. Chief Financial Officer. CFO, Chief Financial Officer en français, c'est quoi? C'est le directeur administratif et financier, communément appelé DAF. C'est le DAF ou la DAF, okay? CFO. So I want you guys to understand this term, and so whenever you talk about DAF, you are referring to the chief executive officer of the company. So what does a CFO do? The CFO does a lot of things, but here I put certain job descriptions of a CFO. So the CFO manages the finances of the company. The CFO is all about the dinero, the money, okay? So the CFO manages the money of the company. So the finance of the company is handled by the chief financial officer. The CFO also ensures stability and establishes discipline in the company, okay? So the CFO makes sure that the money is spent appropriately, that you do not waste the money. And so he establishes or she establishes the discipline, okay, the discipline and the financial stability of the company. That's what a CFO does. Another thing that a CFO does is the CFO reports the financials to the board of the company and the shareholders. So the CFO makes sure that the shareholders of the company or the stakeholders understand the financial state of the company. How is the company performing? This is the role of the CFO. The CFO knows every single number of the company. Every single number is known by the CFO. How is the company doing? The CFO knows all these numbers. And if it's a publicly traded company, the CFO shares those numbers with the company's shareholders. The CFO also sets the financial benchmarks of the company. Okay, so the benchmarks of the companies are some of the guidelines. For example, the company is supposed to do 5% growth every single month. That is a benchmark that the CFO sets up. Okay, so the CFO is responsible for setting those benchmarks. Or there can be a margin benchmark, for example. Si vous ne savez pas ce que ça veut dire a margin, then go back and watch the videos on Business English Part 1 or Part 2. I talked about what a margin is. So the CFO sets the benchmarks. It can be a margin benchmark, it can be a growth benchmark, it can be a customer acquisition benchmark, etc. The CFO also optimizes existing markets. What does that mean? That means if you are in a market and you are doing, for example, let's say you are doing a 5% margin in the market. Is that the most margin that you can do in the market? Or maybe you can do 8% margin or 9% margin. So the CFO makes sure that in every market that the company is, that they're doing the maximum that they can do in that market. That is called optimization. The CFO also focuses on client retention. So one thing is to acquire a client. Another thing is to maintain, or in business terms, to retain that client. And I've said this before, that it costs 6 times more to acquire a client than to retain a client. So it is much cheaper to keep an existing client than to keep spending money attracting or acquiring new clients. So this strategy is extremely important, and that is the role of the chief financial officer. The chief financial officer also manages the risk of the company. We talked about risk appetite that is set by the CEO. Well, the CEO sets the risk appetite, but the CFO is the one that is going to manage that risk. Vous voyez les verbes que j'utilise ici, les verbes d'action. I talked about leads, I talked about drives, I talked about represent, I talked about set, I talked about develops, I talked about determines, I talked about manages, talked about reports, optimizes, focuses. All these verbs are extremely important, and I want you guys to write them down in your notebooks. Very, very, very important, okay? All right, so the CFO, or Chief Financial Officer, also tracks the performance through KPIs. What is a KPI? I already told you to go watch the other Business English videos, but KPI is key performance indicator. A key performance indicator, meaning that there is a certain number that you, or certain numbers that you watch every single day or every single week or every single month, and you make sure that those numbers are telling you the direction of your business. Okay, those numbers are extremely important, and they can be financial numbers or they can be other types of KPIs as well. For example, the number of employees that are in the company. They can even be employee satisfaction or customer satisfaction. So they don't necessarily have to be financial in nature. So the CFO tracks, ça c'est un très bon verbe d'action, tracks the performance of the company. Vous vous demandez, mais coach, pourquoi vous parlez anglais comme ça? Mon niveau n'est que débutant. Je parle anglais pour vous mettre dans le bain. Je commencerai à parler plus anglais, quand bien même c'est un cours pour les francophones, parce que ça va vous forcer à écouter plus attentivement et à comprendre les mots, à réécouter, à réécouter. Vous voyez, si je vous parle tout le temps en français, vous n'allez pas pouvoir comprendre l'anglais. C'est pourquoi maintenant je vais commencer à doser un tout petit peu le pourcentage d'anglais dans mes vidéos. En parlant de doser le pourcentage d'anglais, écoutez, je sais que l'anglais n'est pas nécessairement facile, surtout pour ceux qui ne le comprennent pas ou pour ceux qui ont été marginalisés sur les bancs de l'école et de ce fait maintenant ont soit du dédain pour l'anglais ou disent qu'ils ne peuvent jamais l'apprendre. Vous pouvez l'apprendre. En fait, je vais faire une vidéo sur le fait qu'on peut apprendre l'anglais quel que soit X. Je crois que ça doit être la vidéo, le titre de la vidéo. Vous pouvez apprendre l'anglais quel que soit X. Bref, si vous voulez maîtriser l'anglais à travers notre programme d'immersion, oui, nous avons un programme d'immersion sur mesure pour les francophones. Nous avons aidé des milliers de francophones à améliorer leur niveau d'anglais et à parler aujourd'hui couramment. Si vous êtes intéressé à en savoir plus, allez dans la description, cliquez sur le lien qu'il y a dans la description et mettez vos contacts et je vais vous contacter pour vous donner plus d'informations. All right? And I know that you like this video. Je sais que vous aimez cette vidéo, mais vous n'avez pas encore fait ces 4 choses. C'est quoi ces 4 choses? Likez la vidéo, bien entendu, partagez cette vidéo avec vos amis, souscrivez-vous à la chaîne et activez la cloche de notification pour ne plus jamais rater mes vidéos. Very important. Let's get back to our business. Revenons à nos moutons et let's get back to business. All right, so the CFO tracks the performance through KPIs, and the CFO also manages investment portfolios. So if the company has investments in different things, the CFO makes sure that he knows exactly how those portfolios are doing. Okay? And the CFO monitors tellement de verbes d'action qui sont juteux pour votre CV là. Oh, ces verbes d'action sont tellement juteux. Je vais les souligner pour vous. Okay? Leads, drives, represents, sets, drives, focuses, sets, develop, determine, drive. Vous voyez, drive revient chaque fois là. Manages, to manage, to ensure, to report, to set, to optimize, to focus, to manage, to track, to manage, to monitor. Manage et drive là, très important. All right, so the CFO monitors. Vous voyez comment j'ai prononcé ça? J'ai pas dit monitors, j'ai dit monitors. Monitors, product profitability. Ça c'est rentabilité, profitability. Si vous n'avez pas vu ma vidéo sur les 4 T de l'anglais américain, allez regarder cette vidéo immédiatement après celle-ci. La façon dont les Américains prononcent les T là, c'est complètement différent, complètement différent. Allez regarder, ça va vous aider à mieux capter les Américains lorsqu'ils parlent ou même à mieux comprendre les films sur Netflix. So go watch that video. All right, finally, let's talk about the COO. What is a COO? Well, the C is, of course, chief. The O is what? Chief Operation Officer. Okay, Chief Operation Officer. Chief Operation Officer ou bien Chief Operating Officer. On peut dire Operating Officer également. Chief Operating Officer, Chief Operation Officer ou bien Chief Operations Officer. On peut même mettre un S là-bas. C'est quoi? Chief Operation Officer ou bien Operating Officer. En français, c'est quoi? C'est le chef d'exploitation. Okay, c'est le chef d'exploitation. Chief Operations Officer. They oversee or she or he oversees daily operations. Ok, je préfère mettre un S ici parce que c'est operations, all the operations of the company, okay? Chief Operations Officer, he or she oversees all the operations. That's crazy, right? That's a lot of work. And he or she implements the strategic, ça se prononce strategic, ce n'est pas strategic initiatives. Okay, any strategic initiatives that needs to be done as far as operations are concerned, the COO will take care of that. The COO also coordinates departments for smooth execution. Okay, so the COO will make sure that this department is talking to this department is talking to that department, so that everybody knows exactly what is going on in the company. Smooth, c'est pour que ça glisse, okay? C'est smooth, all right? The COO also aligns operational processes with said values. So the company's values, the said, the whatever the value of the company is, the COO makes sure to align the operational processes. All the processes that are involved in the operation of the company, the COO makes sure to align those with the company's value. So for example, if the company's value is to make sure that they acquire one company, they make one big company acquisition every year, well, the COO will make sure that the operational processes of the company are in line with that vision of the CEO. The COO, or Chief Operations Officer, also manages operational aspects of market penetration. Market penetration simply means expansion. When you're expanding into a new market, you are penetrating that market. So we call that market. Ah, ça c'est market, hein? MKT. Ça c'est un acronyme. Allez regarder ma vidéo sur les 45 acronymes que les Américains adorent. All right. The COO also identifies and mitigates operational risks. Ce mot est très important. Identify and mitigate. C'est quoi? Mitigate, vous voyez comment j'ai prononcé le T. Si vous n'allez pas voir la vidéo sur les 4 T que les Américains adorent, vous ratez une importante opportunité de comprendre comment les Américains parlent, la gymnastique linguistique qu'ils font avec les T. J'ai pas dit mitigate, j'ai dit mitigate. Okay, mitigate c'est réduire. Okay, identifies and mitigates operational risks. So here it's financial risks. Okay, manages financial risks. Here, he manages operational risks. Everybody with their different risks. The COO also optimizes operational resources. That means he will try to do the most with a little bit. Okay, and so to optimize something is to do as much as you can with little resources. The COO works with the CFO, to work with CFO, or works with the CFO, but here you could just say works with CFO on financial strategies. They work together. Everybody here works together. I'm not saying that this person only works with this person. No, they all work together, but specifically here, they work on the financial strategies of the company. And the COO is in charge of process improvement. Every little improvement in the operational processes, he or she is in charge of that. And finally, not finally, but these are the ones that I put here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 30 descriptions here on the screen. And so this one, he or she encourages, so here, we need an S at the end of it. Okay, encourages staff to think creatively. Vous voyez comment j'ai prononcé ce T? J'ai pas dit d'abord, j'ai pas dit c'est creatively. J'ai pas dit creatively. Creatively, allez regarder cette vidéo-là. All right, everybody, listen. Let me underline the action verbs. Overseas, ça c'est différent de overseas avec un A ici. EA, ça veut dire à l'extérieur de votre pays. Overseas, à l'étranger. Mais ça c'est to oversee, c'est-à-dire superviser, ok? Donc ne confondez pas les deux. Implements, un très bon verbe d'action. Coordinates, oh my God, je vous donne tout ça. Ok, aligns, manages, identifies, mitigates, optimizes, works with, in charge of, encourages. Écoutez, je vais faire une série de vidéos sur les différents postes que les gens occupent en entreprise. Envoyez-moi plein de postes dans les commentaires, comme ça j'aurai une liste comme ça et je vais développer les vidéos au fur et à mesure sur vos postes. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez? Vous voulez que je fasse une vidéo sur quoi la prochaine fois? Sur un consultant, un cyber security consultant, un comptable par exemple, un engineer. What kind of engineer? Financial engineer. So put all of that. A doctor? I don't know. What kind of doctor? Donc soyez précis. Ne dites pas juste, hey coach, faites une vidéo sur les consultants. Non. What kind of consultant? All right, very important. So I want you guys to write those things in the comments. Et comme ça, au fur et à mesure, je vais faire des vidéos sur ça et on va voir ensemble les descriptions et même ça peut vous permettre d'améliorer votre CV de façon considérable. Alright everybody, je vous ai déjà parlé de notre programme d'immersion anglaise. Si vous êtes intéressé, vous savez exactement quoi faire. Cliquez sur le lien dans la description et remplissez ça très rapidement. Je vais vous contacter pour vous en dire plus. Likez cette vidéo, partagez cette vidéo dans tous vos groupes WhatsApp et sur vos réseaux sociaux. Bien entendu, souscrivez-vous à la chaîne and smash that notification bell so that you can always get notified when my videos are posted. All right, everybody, we're good? It's Coach Joe, your English coach. Take care, guys.